Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have been gone for a while, so sorry. YouTube decided to take down my channel, but we're back, guys. We're back. They can't get rid of us. We're back. So in one of my previous videos, we spoke about narcissistic partners, but today we're going to talk about something that's not normally talked about, which are narcissistic parents. I know a lot of people, especially in the Caribbean, are going through or are experiencing narcissistic behaviors from their parents. And I want you guys to know that you guys are not alone. A lot of people are experiencing these things. And it's really, really sad because your parents are the first form of bonds that you make in your life. And sometimes they are your first bullies. And it's really, really sad. But today we're gonna listen to some stories of people talking about their experiences with narcissistic parents and how some of them even cut their parents off. And maybe it can help you guys. So let's get on to the video.
Have y'all ever dealt with the parent that tells the family everything you did wrong or that you did in general, but never tell what they did? I went the longest time not knowing why my mother's side of the family never really rocked with me like that. But I also didn't care. So I never cared to clear anything up, right? But the older I got more curious. So I did a little digging. One day I had a conversation with my great uncle and I was just kind of explaining, my trials and tribulations with my mother, past and present. And how I've always just been made out to be this evil monster, but I never cared enough to let anybody know what was happening to me behind closed doors. So I gave him an example. So I'm gonna give it to y'all too. When I was 21, I was living with my mother. I had a 1-year-old. Like any other time, I may have done or said something that just triggered her because she was already miserable. And the result of it was her grabbing me by my hair and dragging me off the bed in front of my 1-year-old and beating me in the hallway of our home, beat me down the hallway till we got to the front room. And this is a trauma response with me laughing because nothing about it was funny, but it was very sad. My stepfather was there as well, and he didn't do anything to really help, but it is what it is. She made me really angry when she did that. And I was so tired of her finding reasons to put her hands on me. So I said to her, I wish that she got cancer and died. That's not right. It's very wrong. I had to repent. I had to apologize to God. I had to apologize to my mother 1,000 times. She still finds ways to bring it up. But the moral of the story is, my family never knew that she did that to me. The only thing they knew was that I said that I wish that she got cancer and died. So all this time, you got everybody thinking that I'm just this crazed out monster. But you're not telling them that you're beating me in front of my kid. My family was very shocked to hear that side. And still to this day, she'll still bring it up as if her part was never played and that I deserved for her to do me like that. So this is for anybody who deals with a narcissistic parent, a parent who is envious and jealous, a parent who lies, a parent who deceives. You are not crazy. You are not wrong. Get away from them.
I don't think people talk about narcissistic family members enough. We talk about the men, we talk about the women that we date, but what about the ones that we're related to? See, these ain't just difficult people. These are folks that bleed on you and say that you cut them. Narcissistic family members are two-faced as hell. Sweet in public, nasty in private. They love playing the victim, and they're the damn villain. These type of people are jealous of their own blood. Compete with their kids, siblings, nieces, nephews. If you're doing better than them, you are 100% an enemy now. Manipulative as they'll twist your words, your memories, and your reality, and they have you question your own identity. Guilt trip champions. After everything I did for you, becomes their national anthem. They're emotionally bankrupt. They don't celebrate your wins, your graduation, things that you are doing in life. Hell, even if you just improving your behavior, they will only see you for the old you and not the new you. Can't admit what they're wrong, but always calling somebody else out. Can't love without control. I always tell people the best way to deal with the narcissistic ass family members is to stay from them. Being around them is like drinking poison slowly. You won't notice the damage until you're doubting yourself, hating yourself, and repeating their patterns. They are so bad for your spirit that it's not even funny. They'll drain your energy, make you feel guilty for growing, healing, or simply saying no. Make you feel like you're the crazy one because you call out the family BS or BS in general. Force you to shrink so they can feel big. Keep you in survival mode so you don't feel safe enough to thrive. They don't want peace, they want power over you. If you don't serve their ego, they'll smear you, lie on you, play the victim, or worse, turn others against you, which is your own other family members. Narcissistic family members' favorite thing to do is pass down their traumas. They breed pain like it's a addiction. They don't just hurt you, they raise the next generation to be just like them. They raise kids on fear, not love. They shame vulnerability. So they kids become emotional numb. They don't apologize like ever. So the next generation don't have no accountability. Before you know it, little girls become grown women that can't say no. Little boys become the generation that confuses control with love. The cycle keeps cycling until somebody breaks it. They'll hurt you, blame you for reacting, and then call you disrespectful when you finally chose peace over proximity. Narcissistic family members are so at the point where they will weaponize culture, religion, or this just how I was raised as an excuse to being emotional abusive or narcissist. Let's call it what it is. Silent treatment equals emotional punishment. Failing to be heard equals manipulation. Calling you names is like normalizing abuse. And this is why narcissistic family members hate the healed family members. They get offended because your growth exposes their dysfunction. Your boundaries feel like rejection to them. Your independence feels like betrayal. Your peace makes them uncomfortable. And this is why sometimes you can't get along with certain family members because you're not meant to get along. Your healing feels like you're turning against the family. They'll say shit like you changed. Well, good. You think you better than us? Like, nah, I just stopped accepting dysfunction as normal. You need to humble yourself. No, bitch, you need to heal yourself. You don't owe a narcissistic family member shit. Not a call, not a text, not a visit. You're not here to be their emotional dumping ground, their scapegoat, keeping the peace by losing yourself, or staying silent to make them feel comfortable.
Okay, guys, I just want to cut in just for a second to say that I cannot believe that this mother had her daughter drawn across the floor. I cannot begin to imagine how hurt that must be, how hurtful that must be. That is something that I will never wish on any child, anybody, for that, because your mother going around telling other family members that you did this, you did that, but never what caused that, you know. And I know a lot of people are going through that, and I just want to say that you guys are not alone. Do not give up. You got this. You can get out of this situation. It is possible. Many people have done it, and I am rooting for you guys.
Does anyone else feel like their narcissistic mother totally screwed them in life? Like growing up, she was my first bully, my number one hater, my first hater. She showed me what it's like to be hated on. She was my first model of a relationship, and it wasn't a good one. My whole life I've dated narcissistic and abusive men because they remind me subconsciously of my mother. Thanks, Mom. And I can't help just be a little resentful at times, especially when I'm angry or irritated, because she set me up for this life and I have to be the one to crawl myself out of it and figure out a way to get out of it. And I know it's supposed to make me stronger, but it's just sometimes so much to bear. So happy I have Jesus in my life now and God to help me with the pain and take away some of that suffering.
I blocked my parents even though they paid for some of my college and gave me a car because of this reason. Growing up, both of them had uncontrollable anger issues and absolutely no concept of boundaries. It was violent, emotionally abusive, verbally, physically. You get the picture. My mom would make some serious threats over my grades, and she would tell me my friends would all realize how bad and stupid I am one day and leave me. When I got married, she claimed that my husband would abuse me and realize that I was a burden and leave me. Throughout my life, she tried to drive a wedge between me and anyone that I cared about. I mean, I was just so tired of my parents constantly criticizing every decision I ever made and denying the abuse just because it happened so long ago. Every time I bring up just the physical abuse, they're like, why are you living in the past? It happened so long ago. I just couldn't pretend anymore that everything was normal because every time I look at them, all I can think and remember is who they really are. I was afraid to cut contact with them because I was still on their phone contract for some reason. I should have switched that earlier. And my brother still had to be on their insurance. And they still needed to finish signing the car title transfer papers for the car that I've been driving for years. Side note, yes, I'm privileged and I'm extremely grateful for everything I do have. I never asked, begged, or demanded anything from my parents. But despite all these strings attached, I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. We'll see what happens. I'll get a new car if I need to. So we picked up my brother, told my parents that he's fine, we're going no contact, and they showed up banging at the door. My brother and I hid, and they accused my husband of acting like a kidnapper when there was a bunch of back and forth yelling, and then they finally left. When we opened the door, we found the car title transfer papers magically signed on the ground. And let me tell you, that shit's been sitting on the back burner for so long because I'm afraid to ask them for things. Because they just accuse me of using them for money. I don't need them to pay for these things anymore, and they're the ones who make promises and say they want to give me something, and then when I take it, they accuse me of being demanding and just using them for money. I'm grateful for everything I have, but I really don't want all this shit. I don't want transactional relationships. I just want it to be loved and accepted and have my boundaries respected. Also, I already did a video on the story, but I did want to clarify, add some more details for the people who want to go no contact with their family and they're afraid like it's too messy, they're dependent. Girl, it's messy. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Narcissistic parents or toxic parents rarely ever recognize their grown adult children as adults. And of course, if you're new here, I'm actually a clinically diagnosed narcissist. If you have a parent that is highly narcissistic or toxic or is an actual narcissist, you know exactly what I mean when I say they will never ever see you as an adult in their eyes. To them, you will always be their child, and to them, you will always owe them a debt. Like narcissistic parents, a lot of them feel like you owe them a debt for being born, for being raised, for the sacrifices that they made to give you everything that you have. They feel like your life is a loan that you will spend the rest of paying them back, like you owe me. So I can't see you as an adult. I always see you as my little child that owes me respect and owes me their life. No matter how old you are, you can be in your 50s and they can be in their 60s or 70s and still look at you as a child. Toxic, narcissistic parents rarely ever give their adult children the respect that they deserve.
Okay guys, I have one more video for you, and this is a very important message that I want you guys to hear, and it's very important for people who are going through this, so please listen guys.
If your narcissistic parent has put you on the guilt trip of all the sacrifices that they've made in order to keep you alive, which was kind of their legal obligation, which they chose to do, you had no say in any of this. This is your reminder that that is just a guilt trip. I also want to remind you that you've made a lot of sacrifices too. You have had to sacrifice your childhood, your mental health, your emotional health, your ability to feel safe on this planet. And that was more than enough that you have done for your narcissistic parent. And the reality is you literally don't owe your parents anything for bringing you onto this planet. You had no choice. You were just brought into this circus that they imposed onto you. And normal, healthy parents don't actually impose this sort of sense of responsibility onto their kids. They want their kids to grow up to be healthy, functional adults. But for narcissistic parents, that's not their goal. They want an extension of themselves that they can control for the rest of their lives. Your boundaries, whether it's low contact or no contact, are completely valid. And their argument that they made sacrifices for you was a choice disguised as a guilt trip, because people who feel guilty are easier to control. You were brought into this circus by no choice of your own. And now that you're an adult, you're making the empowered choice to live life on your own terms. And that's amazing.
Thank you for everyone who has made it to the end of today's video. I really hope that this message empowers a lot of people that are going through these situations. Remember, you are never at fault, and to go no contact if that's what you think will be the best thing for you to make your life good and enjoyable in this terrible, terrible times. So guys, thank you again for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment. I always enjoy interacting with you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye guys.